the roots which is found in the Pteridophytes. Okay, Pteridophytes root. Pteridophytes root, I told, primarily they have that primary root. Primary, they have the root. Firstly, they have the primary root. Okay, firstly they have the primary root, and again this primary root get replaced by the adventitious root in case of the Pteridophyta. Okay, in case of the Pteridophyta, the primary root get replaced by the adventitious root. Okay, but in case of Gymnosperm, Gymnosperm have which type of root? That is the tap root. Because why? Because tap root, they have the primary root which is going too much inside the deep soil. Inside deep soil, it is going too much. Okay, why? Because the tree is very long. The length of tree also long and thickness also. So due to this need, there is the need of heavy support, heavy anchorage, heavy fixation. Okay, so due to the nature, they have provided the tap root. In Gymnosperm, which type of root generally found? Tap root. Okay, tap root. Along with the tap root, there is the two different types of the root which is specialized. So first one is the Coralloid root. Coralloid root, which we have discussed yesterday. It is found in the cycas where the nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. Not bacteria. You have to listen what I'm saying. Nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria. In Coralloid root, nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria, that is blue-green algae, is found. Okay, they have already asked bacteria, cyanobacteria, fungi, or is the second type of root. I told along with the tap root, Coralloid root is special type, and one more is special type of mycorrhizae, where the fungal hyphae gets associated with the roots of higher plants. Okay, these things we have discussed. Now again, you can see the gymnospermic stem is mostly erect, aerial, solid, and cylindrical. Okay, this stem is the erect, aerial, solid, and cylindrical. Okay, means the stem is the aerial in upward. Okay, growing upward. Clear? And erect, aerial, erect, solid means they have the thickness, and cylindrical, straight in length. Okay, now you can see in cycas. In cycas, it is unbranched, while Pinus, Cedrus, and conifers, it is branched. Okay. Yesterday I told PCB, Pinus, Cedrus, these two are the branched. Pinus, Cedrus, these two are the branch, PCB. While cycas, unbranched. Clear? Cycas is unbranched. Okay, maybe branched, unbranched, but most of the time it is unbranched. Okay, cycas is unbranched. And the property of the Pinus, I told already, this I've given in your NCERT. Pinus is the monoecious. Monoecious means bisexual in nature. Monoecious means hermaphrodite. Okay, means both sexes are present together. That is called hermaphrodite. Disexual means sexes separated, unisexual. Okay, so monoecious means Pinus is the hermaphrodite or monoecious. Hermaphrodite we are not using in the plant, we are using in the what will say, animal kingdom. We generally use the animal kingdom. Okay, hermaphrodite, like Ferretima posthuma. In Annelida, Ferretima posthuma, which is the hermaphrodite, leech hermaphrodite. Can you tell in Annelida kingdom which animal is the dioecious in nature? In annelids, phylum annelids, which animal is the dioecious in nature? Zoology.
Neries, sir. Neries, sir.
Very good. As Sanmugpriya, she is saying Neris. Neris and Heteroneris, both are the unisexual, that is dioecious in nature. Neris and Heteroneris is the sexually mature. In the Heteroneris, they have different two parts, epitope and atope. Clear? This is your zoology portion, not I'm going to talk. Listen here. So that means that is the dioecious. Okay, Pinus, Cedrus, and conifers is branch. Leaves, again you can see about the leaves of this gymnosperm. Leaves are dimorphic. Okay, dimorphic means they have the two different types of the chloroplast. Leaves are dimorphic. Okay, the foliose leaves, foliage, not foliose. Foliage leaves are simple. Foliage leaves are simple and okay. Foliage leaves are simple, needle-like, pinnately, needle-like, pinnately compound. Okay. It is saying needle-like. Needle-like means what is the characteristics? Needle-like means what? These plants have adopted to which habitat? If the leaf is needle-like means the plant have adopted to which habitat? Solunga.
Xeric habitat.
Desert.
Subbalakshmi, what you said?
Desert, sir.
Present desert. Okay, desert. That is xerophytic. Okay, correct. I thought you were saying other. Xerophytic. They adopted to xerophytic condition. Xerophytes. Okay, xerophytic condition. Because if the leaf, suppose that this is the leaf, this leaf. Okay, this leaf is getting to modified. It's getting to modified into the needle-like structure. It is going to modified into the needle-like structure. Okay, needle-like structure. So this is why if therefore modified into the needle-like structure means they reduce the surface area. If the surface area less means less stomata. Less stomata means less transpiration. Less transpiration means less water loss. So the nature have adopted such type of the activity. Okay. So the foliage leaves are simple and needle-like and pinnately compound. If you have studied the pinnately and palmately compound, what is the pinnately compound, palmately compound? Simple leaves, simple leaves and compound leaves. Simple leaves means, just I am drawing here, just clear your concept. This is the leaf. In the leaf, they have the midvein and then midvein, primary vein, secondary vein. This is the midvein or primary midrib, and they have the secondary vein, then ventlets, again ventlets. Clear? So this is called the simple leaf. This type of leaf is known as the simple leaf. And leaf have the three different parts. Leaf have how many parts? Leaf have the three different parts. Suppose that this is the stem. This is the stem. From the stem, they have the one place which is known as the leaf base. So suppose that this is the leaf base from where the leaf arise. Okay. Again, there is one structure which is known as the petiole. Okay. So leaf base, petiole, and lamina. Leaf base, petiole, and lamina. So three part of the leaf base, petiole, and lamina. Now, simple leaf. This is the structure of the simple leaves. And what is the compound leaf? Compound leaf is when this, you can see this is the structure. This structure is known as the margin of leaf, or edge of leaves. Okay, or lamina. This is also called the lamina. Okay, what happened if the insertion, this insertion is started and this is insertion arrived up to this insertion okay, this insertion arrived up to rachis, midrib. When in simple leaf, the insertion, now look at this insertion arrived up to the midrib. And if they arrived up to the midrib, then you can see the structure will change. Now look at the structure of leaf. The structure of leaf will be like that. Suppose that this will like that, it will be the rachis. It will be the rachis, and now the leaf, small leaf, it is going to it is getting or it is going to modified into leaflets. This leaf is going to modified into the leaflets. Okay, this going to modified, or simply you can say the leaves gets modified into the leaflets. Okay, and this structure is called the compound leaf. means the insertion in season, not insertion, in season arrived up to the midrib. Now you can see this is the lamina. Now this is going to insert up to the midrib, and ultimately there is the formation of rachis. So this structure is known as the rachis. This structure is known as the rachis, and this green structure is known as the leaflets. This green structure is known as the leaflets. Okay, so this is called the compound leaf. Clear? Simple leaf means like you have to see in Ficus religiosa, people. Ficus religiosa leaf, that is the simple leaf. Okay, that is the simple leaf. Pinnately compound or palmately compound leaf means neem. Azadirachta indica. Azadirachta indica, that is the neem. Clear? And if you have to see in this neem, they have the compound pinnately. This is saying needle-like pinnately compound leaf. So this structure is known as the pinnately compound leaf. Scaly leaves are small, membranous, and brown. They have the scaly leaves, and this is scaly leaves like that. Scaly leaves like that. It will be small, membranous, and brown. Clear? It will be small, membranous, and brown. Now, again, a closer look at the coralloid roots. Coralloid roots, which we have seen, it is looking like the, if you'll see the ginger, it is looking like this roots, it is looking like the ginger, coral, not ginger, coral. Coralloid roots, why they have given the name coralloid root? Why they have given the coralloid roots? Because it is looking like the coral. Coral. Clear? It is looking like the coral. Just you can see this is looking like the coral reef. Coral reef. Can you tell the phylum which forms the coral reef? Phylum which forms the coral reef. Yes, Sanmukh Priya.
Sir.
Very good. Excellent. Coelentrates form the coral reef. The largest coral reef in the world. Largest coral reef in the world. Yes, Sanmukh Priya. Do you know anyone? That is the Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef in Australia. Great Barrier Reef in Australia, which is the largest coral reef in the world. Okay, so coral reef basically formed from coelentrates. So this coralloid, why we have given the name coralloid? Because this structure is looking like the coral. So that's why they have given the name coralloid root. Okay, grow upward near soil surface, branch to form masses, root cortex inhabited by the cyanobacteria. Very, very important. Cyanobacteria in coralloid root, not bacteria. I saw most of the time students got confused between bacteria and cyanobacteria. You have to learn only the cyanobacteria which is found in the coralloid root. Okay. Next, let's look at cycas coralloid root. Cycas, it is looking like coral. It is looking like the coral. So this is the coralloid root. Is it fine? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Very good, Koshur Banu. Second is the mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae structure you can see, I told already. The fungal hyphae gets associated with the roots of higher plant, that is the Pinus. So Pinus you can see. Sometimes the angiosperm also involves. Sometimes angiosperm also involves, but it is also found in the gymnosperm. So here they have given the example, that is the pine. Pine means Pinus. Either may be Pinus or gymnosperm. Now the tallest tree you can see. The tallest tree name is the giant coast redwood of California. Coast redwood of California, which is found in the California, USA, and it is the giant. Okay, the height more than 112 meter, sometimes 125. Okay, then again giant sequoia, Douglas fir, and western red cedar, European larch, Scots pine, white spruce, and Italian cypress. Okay, so in this way, this is the example of the tallest tree in the world, that is the gymnosperm. Next is the sulfur sower. What is the sulfur sower? Sometimes pollen grains released like that. Okay. Sometimes what happening? Pollen grains they released as a as a looking like means the pollen grain released from the pollinium means pollinium more means huge in number, like you can say this looking like as a shower. Are you understanding or not? When they spread the pollen grains present in the huge in number means maximum in number. When they spread on the when they discharge from the pollinium, it is looking like sulfur sour. Okay, sulfur sour. So you can see what is the story about this. Sulfur sour is a phenomenon. It is a phenomenon. Sulfur sour is a phenomenon related to the reproduction pollination of in pine tree. Pine tree, they release the pollens. Pines are the naked seed bearing plants. Gymnosperm already naked seeding, belonging to the group Gymnosperm. Okay, this is the simple concept which we have already studied. Then this is called the sulfur sour. This is called the sulfur sour and occurs during the spring season. Very, very important. During the spring season, it is happening. The pollen grains are released and carried by the wind, the female cones. Okay. It is saying, I told already, when the pollen grain released from the in Pinus tree, it is looking like sour. It is looking like the sour because the number of pollen grains is very huge. The number of pollen grains is present in the maximum quantity. When they release, they're looking like as a sulfur sour. If you have to see the insect pollination, if they attacks on insect on a particular agriculture field, sometimes we have listened. I didn't see such incident. Someone told me when the insect attack, previously insect attacks was happening, so that time if the insects is moving on the in troposphere area, so peoples they felt like that there is the cloud, means cloud came, but cloud was not there. The number of insects, that was the number of insects. Okay, so means the huge number of insects only moves together into the colony, and when they arrived into the particular field, then you can think what will happen. They will never provide anything, either leaf, stem, everything they can eat. Okay, so such times what happened means such times happened. We don't know. I didn't see such event. Okay. So like that here, the number of pollen grains is too much, huge in quantity. When they discharge from the pollinium, and that time it is felt or it is looking like as a sulfur sour. Green woody perennial with the shrubby or tree-like habitat I have discussed. They show xerophytic characters. Very, very important. They show the xerophytic characters. Okay. This generally represents the xerophytic character. Means what is the adaptation for xerophytic character? The adaptation to xerophytic character. Yes, Fazila. What is the adaptation for xerophytic character?
Needle-like leaves.
Yes. So first character is the, you are saying, needle-like leaf. First is the needle-like leaf. Point number 1. Second, Fazila.
Sunken stomata, sir. Sunken stomata is present, sir.
Sunken stomata present. Sunken stomata means the stomata present deep inside the leaves. Okay. Point number 3. Point number 3. Scotoactive stomata. Do you know about scotoactive stomata? Scotoactive stomata. Anyone? Do you know? Scotoactive. Do you have listened Subhalakshmi as Sanmugupriya? Anyone?
Stomata is open during the night time, sir.
Yes. Scotoactive stomata means the stomata which opens during the night time. Clear? That is called the scotoactive stomata. Okay. Scotoactive stomata means the stomata which opens during the night. That is called scotoactive stomata. So needle-like, sunken stomata, and third is the scotoactive stomata. Gymnosperm do not produce flower bearing, fewer exception. I told already, these are the comes in the category of phanerogams. Phanerogams means seeded plant. Phanerogams means seeded plants. So in the phanerogams, two is there. One is the gymnosperm, another is the angiosperm. Okay, gymnosperm and angiosperm. Gymnosperm is non-flowering plant, and angiosperm is the flowering plant. Clear? Angiosperm is the flowering plants. Gymnosperm are heterosporous, which means cycas, pinus, and here cedrus. So cycas, pinus, and cedrus, these are the example of gymnosperm. Again example of the gymnosperm, Jamia pygmea. Jamia pygmea, do you know the feature of Jamia pygmea? What is the feature of Jamia pygmea? Anyone solunga? Jamia pygmea. Anyone, do you know the feature of Jamia? Very good, Subhalakshmi. Smallest gymnosperm. Smallest gymnosperm is the Jamia pygmea. Jamia pygmea is the smallest gymnosperm. Thuja, that is more punky. It is looking like the more. More, it is Hindi. More in the Hindi. In English, it is called the peacock. It is looking like the more punky, means feather of peacock. It is looking like the feather of peacock. Thuja. Feather of peacock. Feather of peacock. Clear? It is looking like Thuja. Then Jingo biloba, it is the only living fossil. Cycas also living fossils. Cycas, Jingo biloba, both are the living fossil. Then araucaria and Pinus. Araucaria and Pinus. So these are the example of gymnosperm. Again, same thing, but in the different color, like white, black, what will say? Black and white color TV. If you have seen, that is old TV. Cycas, Stangeria, Bavenia, Jamia pygmea, smallest gymnosperm, Netum, Pinus, cone. The strobilli bearing microsporophyll, that is the male reproductive organ. Microsporophyll, male reproductive organ, or microsporangia are called male strobilli or male cone. The microspore develop into the male gametophytic generation, which reduced and confined to only a limited number of cells. Okay, this microsporophyll is going to form microsporangium, and this microsporangium develop into the male gametophytic generation. This reduced gametophyte is called the pollen grain. Okay, from here you will not get the structure like Enthridia, because I told last group having Enthridia, that is the Pteridophytes. Last group having Archegonia, that is the Gymnosperm. So means from the Gymnosperm to onwards, you will never get the Enthridium. You will get the always term pollen grain, because last group having Enthridia is the Pteridophytes, and last group having Archegonia, that is Gymnosperm. After Gymnosperm, you will never get the Archegonia like structure. Okay, so now you can say the development of pollen grain takes place within the microsporangia, that is the female reproductive structure. Next, the cones bearing megasporophylls with the ovules are called female strobilli or female cone. We are talking about the female reproductive structure, that is female strobilli or female cone. The male or female strobilli may be born on the same tree, that is monoecious condition, Pinus. However, in cycas, male cones and megasporophylls are born in the different tree that I told. Cycas is the dioecious. Okay. The megaspore mother cell is differentiated from one cell to the nucleus, that is nutritive tissue of the will. Last group having Archegonia. Last group having Archegonia is the Gymnosperm. That again they have given. I told already number of times. Then one more. This is the structure of the megasporangium. Clear? Archegonial chamber and the pollen chamber. So archegonium, nucleus. This is the structure of the megasporangium. That is the nucleus, nutritive tissue. Endosperm I told it will be the haploid, because it forms before fertilization, so it should always haploid. Okay, and then pollen chamber where they comes, pollen grains comes, and this is the integument, inner and outer integument. Archegonial chamber where the archegonium forms, and this is the structure, seed and fertile region and ovule. Okay, so this is the structure of the gymnosperm, that is cone structure, female cone. Again, microsporangium, microsporophyll and megasporophyll, same structure they have given. Look at, this is the megasporophyll and here microsporophyll, because the side is small. I told this is a spore, it undergo the meiosis, they form the microspore. Microspore directly develop into the gametophytic stage, so that is N. Microspore directly develop into the gametophytic stage, and ultimately two different gametophytes, they will fuse together, they again form the zygote, and zygote they are going to form the sporophytic stage. Okay, so similarly also here megasporophyll, megaspore mother cell, they are going to undergo the meiosis, produce the mega gametophyte, or simply you can say gametophyte, and both gametophyte together become joined, means male gametophyte, female gametophyte. Male gametophyte, that is the pollen grains, and female gametophyte, this is also looking like the structure of embryo sac. Okay, both fuse together and ultimately zygote form, and zygote is the sporophytic stage of the plant. Is it fine? 2N stage. The life cycle of the gymnosperm you can see again, that is I told already, gymnosperm and angiosperm both show the diplontic type of life cycle. Diplontic means 2N stage will be the long. If you see here, now this stage is the N. N means haploid stage. So haploid stage from here to, you can see this is the haploid stage. Haploid stage is short, while diploid stage is long. You will see that the haploid stage is short, while diploid stage is long. In this way, you can say, in case of the gymnosperm, and angiosperm, gymnosperm and angiosperm, the life cycle is diplontic type. Clear? Life cycle is diplontic type, means diplontic type. The plant should be means they generally represents the diplontic type of life cycle, means the dominant stage always be 2N. You can see after fertilization, that is sporophyte develops again, and they are going to form the seed, that is cone like structure. Again this sporophyte develops into the plant sporophyte, and the spore mother cells, they release the pollen grains, and here seed cone, that is the ovules, and both both undergo the meiosis, they produce the gametes, microspore and here megaspore, both again fuse. Okay, and ultimately fertilize. So this show the which type? Heteromorphic alternation of generation and diplomatic type of life cycle. Sporophytic, diploid, dominant, independent. Sporophytic stage is the diploid, dominant and independent. Okay.